Hello, Aquarius. It is time for your August 2021 reading. I'm very excited about this month. I think it's going to be great. I think we are on a trajectory of doing some amazing things, and I think things are getting better. Now, a lot of people think I'm a bit crazy to think this because the world is not looking very good at the moment, but I also think that we can put things out there to make things happen. So that's what I'm working on. So I hope you're all fine and well and happy, and I'm going to do a quick little 12 card reading for you. I've done lots of shuffling already, and I'm just kind of finishing it off here now that I'm on camera. It is noisy outside where I am today, so I hope it doesn't get too crazy because my window is open, but I kind of have to have it open because it's kind of choking in here without the window open. Now, if you don't know me already, I love doing double decks. Sometimes I even do triple decks when I'm really in a mood not to be able to shuffle very well. So anyway, here we go. Let's have some good stuff. Ooh, I haven't seen the Wheel of Fortune yet today. Queen of Wands. Nice, nice. Some activity on the horizon. Ooh, lots of wands. Okay. You are going to have some action happening. Lots of action. Wow. I didn't say it when I was dealing out those cards because lately we have had so many Ten of Swords. It's crazy. And we don't need the Ten of Swords in our lives. But you have a beautiful reading, an absolutely beautiful reading. So this is very exciting. Very, very exciting. I like this a lot. We've got 4 wands here. Let's look at our people first, okay? Let's look at the people because we've got a couple of people here to check out. So the first one is the Page of Cups. The Page of Cups is a young person, child, teenager, or young adult. And this person is very imaginative and fun and a little bit quirky, typically very artistic, always learning things and very fun and passionate, well-spoken, you know, sometimes a class clown sort of a person, and just a lot of fun all the way around. So unless you're in your very, very early 20s, I'm going to say this is probably not a love interest for you. Well, hopefully definitely not unless you're that age. But it might be your child. It might be, you know, some other person in your life. And it can also be a messenger, the Page of Cups. The Page of Cups can be a messenger of love coming in, or something love related or passion related. It can be something about a hobby that you're passionate about. You know, somebody responds to a message you've sent about starting up a club for doing knitting or doing painting or whatever creative pursuit or passionate pursuit. These people are very social. They're lots of fun, very loving, very, very loving, and exciting person to be around. When it's a child, they tend to be extremely loving, a lot of fun, funny, an artist, you know, just a lot of good stuff all packed into one. And then we've got the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands is social. She's active. She's physical. If you notice her here in this traditional stance, in these cards, the Rider-Waite, her legs are open. I mean, that's not to say she's a lady of the evening or anything, but she's open. She's open, receptive, active, fun, loving, kind of comfortable in her position. She is very social, sometimes a bit of a party animal, very good at entertaining. If you know somebody like this, she is a good person to know. Somebody who will give you advice on how to do all kinds of things, and who will take part in all kinds of things because she's active. So I don't know, maybe this is your mom, maybe this is your best friend, maybe this is your daughter, maybe this is your child. I mean, I don't know. Daughter and child, yes. Two children of yours, let's say, to phrase that a little bit better. Whomever they are prominently figuring in your month. Could be a boss, could be a you know, business associate that you're close to, but very active. Then we've got the Five of Wands, which is a card that when I get this card and I'm doing a private reading, the first question I ask is, are you in martial arts? Because people who do martial arts always get this card because it's, you know, combat, physical combat in that case. And there is that fighting aspect. The second thing is there a lot of arguing going on? I find that this card often refers to some kind of conflict at work, but it could also be just argumentative natures of people that you spend time with. Could be in your home, could be in your workplace, could be a social thing, but it tends to be arguing. If it's a conflict that you can solve, if it's just a temporary thing that you can solve, that's something to look at. Perhaps that's the case here. So think about that. There's a lot of activity. You've also got the King of Wands. This is a wonderful pairing. Yeah, I didn't mention him when we were putting the people. I should have probably put him up here, but it doesn't matter. The King of Wands, when you see the King and Queen of Wands, sometimes they are a couple. They are fiery. They are Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. My best friends are a couple where the female is a Sagittarius and the male is a Leo, and I'm telling you, it is a blast being around these two. Now, some people wouldn't like it. There's a lot of yelling going on, but it's usually yelling for good, like yelling because they tasted something they love or yelling because something went well, but it is extreme and it's amazing, and they play off of each other, and it's just fun. It's just totally fun. Now, I'm Aries, so I think it's fun. Somebody a little bit more quiet and reserved might not think it's quite as much fun. So anyway, often these two can be a couple, and when they are quite a strong, fiery couple. They have similar qualities, the King and Queen. Now, they can both be very authoritative, but the King tends to be more of a quote-unquote authority figure. Even though he's still fun and a party animal and social and all the rest of it, he tends to be more of a sort of the authoritarian in the family. So if you had, and do not think I'm being Miss Modern Chick by saying this, because I'm not. I do not alter the way the tarot cards work, which are ancient, to suit political correctness of the day. But there has always been some malleability in the genders of tarot cards. Not 100%, because traditionally this role is a male role. Traditionally this role is a female role. But if you know a couple who, you know, say the female is a business owner and she has to be in a position of authority and telling people what to do all day long, and the guy might also be working, but maybe his job isn't quite as authoritative. It could be reversed. It could be where the female is more like the King of Wands and the male is more like the Queen of Wands. It happens. I mean, it just depends on, it depends more on what they're doing, you know, what their role is. For example, I will often say that queens, because usually the woman is the one who takes care of the home, family, a social calendar for the family, that sort of thing. That will usually be depicted as a female. Now, if a guy is staying home, taking care of the children, and doing all of that traditionally female stuff, then he could be looked at as the queen of whatever suit. So, just something to bear in mind. So, some kind of conflict, arguing, or martial arts, whatever it is in your various situations. I happen to love these two cards. I don't consider this my card, in quotes, because there's a different card, Six of Cups, the one that I love best of all, and I sort of consider my card. But if, because of my place in life and my sign, Aries, and all that, this would represent me. So I do have a connection to this card. I love this card. I love all the Wands cards because I love active stuff. So that kind of excites me, the whole Wands thing. So I'm just going to put this guy down here because I want to look at this card because then our Wands are all kind of together in a little block. This guy is working hard. This is you. Working hard, and there's a little bit of defensiveness here. This defensive posture with the wand poised that way. It's not stopping you from doing anything. You're still on the path. Now, maybe the reason for this defensiveness is this conflict at work. Maybe people are not being receptive. Maybe people are being difficult. I mean, if you work in any kind of an office setting, we all know what that's like. I mean, good luck. There's always some kind of nonsense. And nowadays that there's all this crazy empowerment of everybody, no matter how little work they do. It's like I've heard stories that just absolutely blow my mind. And it has nothing to do with any form of prejudice. It's just simply, back in the day, here's the job, either perform the job or leave. And you get paid if you do this, and if you don't do the thing, then you're not getting paid. So there was no, ass kissing to every person for every situation under the sun. And I do mean I would not be a business owner now. I would not be. No interest, because it's absolutely. Now, it doesn't mean you can't be kind and treat your employees beautifully. I believe in great pay for effort and all of that wonderful stuff. I absolutely do. And I think that as an employer, I think I would offer huge incentives for performance. But I don't believe in huge incentives for no performance. That's just me. So if you want to say that's mean and evil, go nuts. I'm sure I say many things that people would consider mean and evil. So there's this little bit of defensiveness, and I'm guessing it's warranted. I'm guessing it's warranted because people can be cruel at work, or they can be, they can set obstacles up in front of you. Maybe it's even your employer setting up these obstacles where you're trying to do something or just get through the day, or maybe do something innovative. I mean, it's different in all of your cases. So whatever it is, there's this little bit of defensiveness, which is not always a bad thing. I'm not saying you shouldn't be defensive. Maybe you have every right in the world to be a little defensive, and maybe you need to have your guard up because it's a protective feature, and sometimes we need to do that. So, I'm not judging that. Some people say, oh, that's bad. I totally disagree. I think we definitely have to have a bit of a defensive posture sometime. And you know what? When you're ready, you can let your guard down if you're in the right environment, in the right situation. That's the way I look at it anyway. Just my opinion. So, on to the next. I'm going to put these two guys together. You're working hard. You're working hard. I don't know if it's your job, or if it's like with your children, or gardening, or whatever your thing is. Sometimes it seems like a hobby, but some people are very committed to things that are what some other people would call a hobby. Sometimes it's your life's work. Sometimes it's just something you're passionate about. Maybe you're an artist and you're trying to produce, or a writer and you're trying to produce, and it might not be your full-time vocation, but it's something you're working on, trying to get off the ground. I mean, that's often the case. Whatever the thing is that you do, that you occupy your time with, that's important, and it's what you consider your work, you're pursuing it. You're doing it. You're kind of a craftsman at whatever the thing is, and you are progressing and working really hard. Now here, sometimes you don't always feel like it's paying off enough, or it's not going quickly enough, or there's some kind of a disillusionment, a disenchantment about it sometimes, which is very normal. Sometimes we work at something and then we have a setback, or we work at something and we just don't get what we want, or it doesn't happen right away. Sometimes it seems like forever and nothing happens, and then all of a sudden you get this shower of money or recognition, or you reap the harvest, suddenly everything blooms, so keep on doing what you're doing. I have a feeling you are on the absolute right track. This card is also a card of the craftsman, the skilled tradesperson. And I have a feeling you're working very, very hard at something and doing very well. Now, this can be in regard to work, but it can also be in regard to creating a home or a foundation for your life. It's about laying foundations, about creating something. It's beyond the inception of the idea. You're actually putting things into motion here. And you're creating something for the future. Whatever this is, whether it's your home, whether it's your people you're investing in, whether it is a financial investment, you are starting to build something. And that is great. That's exciting. And with all this active wand stuff going on, this reading feels really strong, really, really positive. So this card, this is an interesting card, and I'm going to give you a little story. If you haven't seen me before, you won't have heard this story, but if you have seen me before, you might have heard the story. I don't do it every time, but I do it once in a while. My mother was a card reader, and whenever she read this card, and I'm not kidding you, well, let me preface this with, I get this card all the time, nobody dies. My mother used to pull this card and somebody would die within 2 weeks. I mean, like clockwork. And she read for other people, and everybody was petrified of the card. She had everybody scared stiff of the card. She was petrified of the card. And every time she pulled the card, somebody died. Now, what's really interesting about this is that the card doesn't have anything to do with meaning any form of death. So what the hell? I mean, I pull the card all the time. Nobody's dying. And the card doesn't mean dying anyway. The card means, well, the card is about medieval times when people were knights and they would go into battle and most of them died. But every once in a while, they didn't die. So they had a coffin already made for them in case they did die. And when they would come back alive, they would go lie down on the coffin or in the coffin, and they would reflect on their life and think about, oh, wow, I'm alive. I actually get to continue on with my life. What am I going to do next? What's my next step going to be? So it's very much like the hermit or even the hanged man, where you're going within yourself, or even the high priestess, where you're going into yourself and you're really thinking about what your life is all about. Meditation, rest from battle. You know, if you've been through a lot lately, this is a very nice card for saying, you know, don't think about the conflicts for a little bit. Just kind of go within yourself, find your inner wisdom, have some peace, know that there is peace within, know that you're whole and complete within yourself. These are all very important concepts. So it's not a bad card at all. It's actually a very positive card. The Wheel of Fortune, it's getting more positive by the minute, because the Wheel of Fortune is a card that is about fate and how fate plays out in your life. I find this card to be a card of luck. Whenever I pull this card, it means something lucky is going on. So I'm going to say you've got luck coming your way, baby. And then these two cards are two of the most beautiful cards in the deck. The Two of Cups, this is about a connection of minds and hearts. It's a connection of two people. It doesn't have to be a love interest. It could be a love interest, but it's two people who are unified. It could be a business partner that you both have each other's back. You both are connected thought-wise. You know, you are on the same wavelength. You have the same goals. Together, you're going to create something amazing. It could be your best friend. It can be your best friend who you can finish each other's sentences. You have this beautiful rapport. You know you can trust each other to talk about things that you can't trust anybody else to keep your secrets or whatever. And it's a beautiful relationship. Or ideally, it's your lover and you have this with that person and you have that connectedness and they understand you in ways that nobody else does. But whatever it is, you've got it, or it's coming. It's coming. And the Ten of Cups is one of the best cards in the deck. It's the dream card. It's the happy home and family card. It's your passion is all complete. You're going to have everything. And if this is your love relationship, I can see how this can play out. And you're working toward everything. It seems like you're a person who is working toward a lot of things, and things are going to happen for you. So I'm very happy with this reading. I want your takeaway of this reading to be that you know that what you're setting into motion is going to create a beautiful life and come to fruition. there's some good stuff here. There's some really good stuff here. So I wish you the best of this month, and I hope to talk to you soon.